Hey guys, what's up? My name is Morgan. I'm a single mom with a chronic illness called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and it's Sunday morning. It's about 11:30 a.m. I just dropped my son off at church. Come here. My cat. I just dropped my son off at church with one of his friends from soccer and his friend's grandma. So we're gonna see how much I can get done around the house this morning. It's rained here for the past 5, 6 days, 7 days. I grow cat grass for my cat, so she's trying to eat it in my window right now. But it's rained here for the last 6 or 7 days. Yesterday was the first day it hadn't rained, so my grass needs cut pretty terribly. If you're not new here, then you know that cutting my grass is my least favorite chore, but it's also something that this is the first year I've been able to cut my grass on my own since I started really experiencing my POTS symptoms. So I hate doing it, but I'm very grateful that I've been able to have the strength to do it. I think this is the third or fourth time I'll be cutting my grass this year. So I'm really doing it. We're staying consistent with it. And also one of my goals for this summer and just in general was to really start building a little bit of a village for my son. He's in a really great school where I think that village mentality is honored as well. So he's been out of school for a little over a week now. He's staying home with me for the summer. I was very nervous about managing that with my chronic illness and if I would be able to keep up with him. He's had an activity planned every day so far since he has been out of school, and I've done okay. I'm pretty proud of myself for how I'm keeping up. I'm relying pretty heavily on my blood pressure medication when we're out and about for longer periods of time. And I am trying to make sure that we prioritize rest and downtime. Like, he didn't take a nap yesterday, but we went to sleep around 6:30, woke up for a little bit at 10, and then went back to sleep again. So we're just trying to do what's best for us and our bodies, but he has had an activity planned every day. I love that he has a friend from soccer that lives so close to us. It's maybe like 5-10 minutes up the road. I live in rural southern West Virginia, so to have a friend that consistent, that close, that it's just nice to have. So this is his first Sunday going to church. I really wanted him to have more church exposure this summer as well. We've been doing little Bible studies at home, so that's very much just kind of fell into our lap as a recurring Sunday invitation. And I love how God works. That was one of the things that I really wanted for my son, and he is experiencing that. And hopefully when I don't have so many chores to keep up with at home, which will probably be never, I can join him. However, I will say I do not get so much satisfaction out of the organized church aspect of worshiping. When my son was a little bit younger, I met a woman who worked in the church, and she also had POTS, and one of the things that she told me that really comforted me was that Jesus finds the mothers. God finds the mothers. He comes to you. And I was really grateful to hear that, because at that point I just felt like there was no way I could manage. If you have POTS or any form of dysautonomia, then you know that driving and getting ready for an event is something that can make the event not so enjoyable, and I did not want to resent going to church. So hearing that made me feel better, and I'm really grateful that my son has a place so close with a friend that I can drop him off and he can have that experience. So if it's something that he enjoys, then that's available to him as well. So I guess we're just going to go ahead and make this a little life update. So I'll go ahead and tell you some more as well, because I'm really hoping, I have a personal goal of trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers before my next Cleveland Clinic visit. If you followed me for a little while, then you know that I went to Cleveland Clinic with my son over Easter. This was my second trip to Cleveland to see my electrophysiologist, Dr. Mayuga, who has been pretty helpful in this journey. I think a lot of people, when they go to Cleveland Clinic for their first appointment, it can be kind of underwhelming, because unless you've done a lot of the prerequisite testing and specialty visits that they want you to do at Cleveland, you won't leave there with a POTS diagnosis from them. So when I went to my first appointment, I did not leave with a POTS diagnosis from Cleveland Clinic. I left with a bunch of homework, specialist visits to have in my home state, and testing to have done to rule out other conditions that could cause POTS or dysautonomia or mimic it. So I completed all of that within the last year, and when I went back for this appointment, I was armed with ruling out different issues that they were concerned with. I had different testing done. I did a sleep study, endocrinology. I was not able to see a rheumatologist or have some of the autonomic testing done that they wanted me to have done because it was not offered in my state. I do think that's changed since then, so I'll probably have to follow up with a neurologist with a bigger hospital, probably in Morgantown, which is where I have a lot of my care done anyways, because they have more specialty options and the wait time is minimal compared to my hometown and the specialty visits here. So I have scheduled my follow-up visits in Cleveland that my electrophysiologist recommended. Since we ruled out all of the other conditions, we're absolutely under the impression that I was diagnosed with POTS, and then I have the type of POTS that is caused by the trifecta, so allergies, mast cell activation syndrome, POTS, and Ehlers-Danlos, a form of hypermobility, usually all kind of go together and coexist, and we believe that's the case with me. So I'm going to have an echocardiogram to rule out the vascular form of EADS, which is the most dangerous. So I'm grateful that they recognized and acknowledged that. I will be meeting with allergy and immunology to see what we can do to get my histamine under control. If you have seen a lot of my low histamine meals that I've been making lately, I'm doing that in anticipation that I'm going to have to stop taking Benadryl in the very near future, and I've been taking Benadryl every night since October to keep my symptoms at bay. So I'm very nervous for that. I'm trying to flush as much histamine as naturally as possible since I won't be able to rely on Benadryl. I'm scared. I'm scared about that. But then the one that is most exciting for me is that I will also be going to the dysautonomia clinic. So with my POTS diagnosis, that opens me up to a little bit more treatment options at Cleveland. I have been doing physical therapy at home, and I had so much success with physical therapy in treating my vestibular issues, vertigo, migraine, everything head and neck related. It was like my migraines are almost non-existent now. My balance issues are crazy, like improved. I don't get dizzy when I'm driving anymore. So I saw so much success with that, but I kind of hit a brick wall when it was time to start a CHOP protocol, like an exercise plan for people with POTS. So part of my visit to Cleveland in the next couple of weeks will be doing a cardiac rehab program and working with them to figure out what I'm capable of based on not just like stamina, but my vitals, post-exertional issues. It'll be a little bit more customized, and then I can take that exercise plan back home to my physical therapist in my home state and start working from there. So I feel like it's a lot of really exciting things. It's taken me a long time to get here. It's taken a lot of effort on my end, a lot of persistence, and it hasn't been easy. It's super discouraging. And my reasoning for doing this is because like it is possible. If I didn't have my son pushing me to be the healthiest version of myself, I'm not sure if I would do it for me. It's been a lot of sacrifice I've really had to put myself out there and receive a lot of judgment from other people, but if I don't put myself out there, I won't get the help that I need. It's been a lot of interviewing doctors to see if they have the knowledge or the capability or the willingness to work with a condition that they're not familiar with. And it took me a while to get all of those people in place, but now that they're in place, they work really hard to help me. And one of the biggest things that I've found is that I need help through the flares, right? I'm not living, if you would have found me about a year and a half ago, I was living in a constant chronic state of a flare-up that was not improving. My environment was toxic. I wasn't healing. Now that I'm able to heal and I'm more episodic instead of just constant chronic flare symptoms, which was really taking a toll on my neurological symptoms, my short-term memory loss. I was losing words. I just, from like 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, I was probably at a 2. And that might be generous. So now that I'm not in a constant state of survival, I am able to notice what triggers my flares, and I'm able to ask for help on how to either, one, completely prevent those triggers and flares from happening, which is hard, and then two, which is the most likely course for me, finding a way to help my body heal and overcome from those flares faster. I'm hoping that IV fluids is going to be a real possibility for me soon, not on a consistent basis, but when I have like viral infections or things like that, a period of time where I have to overexert myself and I spend a lot of time healing and recovering. I'm hoping that IV fluids will help jumpstart that, and maybe I won't spend so much time just recovering and hydrating. When I had the flu, it was very difficult. It took me about 2 months to recover from the flu, mostly because I was not able to eat and drink as much as I needed to recover, and IV fluids are just kind of a way to skip and bypass that. My medical team seems to be on board with it, so I'm hoping after that, that's going to be my last major hurdle, and I'll have a good plan and team in place to combat things as they pop up. But that's where we're at with that. I'm really optimistic, super hopeful. All good things so far. And yeah, let's go cut my grass. So I got my front yard and my driveway completely mowed and edged with a weed eater. I didn't record the weed eater. I'm still a little bit insecure about my weed eater skills, but I'll show you guys a picture of the after. I don't think I did that bad. I have not been able to successfully do my front yard and my backyard all at once. I've been alternating. So maybe that can be my goal as summer progresses, to try to do them both in the same day. Hi, Tater. My face is red, my feet are red. I need to go take a shower before I pick up my son from church.